keeping people in your business strong starts with how you share your business with them.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon where you are. It's Bill Russell, your digital shark, and welcome to this edition of In the Den. And I can't tell you how excited I am. I have a guest that I have been networking with. I think we went to more conferences together last year and spent more time together with each other than I probably spent with my team. And it's Dustin Van Orman of Any Hour Services. He is the president of business development and mergers and acquisition, longtime employee of Any Hour Services out of Salt Lake City, a growing company with a tremendous amount of growth and aspirations over the course of the next 5 years. Their growth has been incredible, from what they do, from their business to culture. And I'm super pumped, Dustin, to have you with me today. I know we've been back and forth trying to schedule, got a lot going on, but thanks so much for being in the den with me today.
Bill, I'm grateful to be here with you. Excited to have a conversation and see where it leads. And I love talking to people about what we're doing in our industry. So excited to share some different ideas that we're doing and hear what you have to say.
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, you've been with Any Hour for the last 12 years, and the amount of growth that's happened probably in the last three comparatively to the last nine has been through the roof. One of the things that, and I've been to the shop, there's a tremendous culture that's there, but and we'll get into that because that is a big component of where you guys are as an organization, as a company. And a lot of the goal of having a time where I get to spend just talking to somebody of the caliber of the people that are at Any Hour has been overwhelmingly impactful in my life. Not because it's on this pedestal of HVAC companies, but I put it on a pedestal of companies. And I think that when you have the opportunity to meet Wyatt, you have the opportunity to meet Jeremy, you have the opportunity to meet yourself, you have the opportunity to meet Mike Wilson, and there's 400 other people that open their arms to any company or individual out there on a daily basis to see your shop, to see the way it's almost like, in some ways, the Patriot way of the New England Patriots in the way that they do things, but the Any Hour way of doing things, as far as in the way that you run your organization, from inventory control to call center management. You're extremely open about sharing that. But I don't think that people can truly appreciate it until you're in an environment where you firsthand have seen it. And so for me, I had in March of 2022 the opportunity to go out to Lake Tahoe for a partner retreat, which Wyatt was at, and we got to sit down talking, and he said, come see our shop. Mm-hmm. And not a client, not a digital marketing client, but I had said to CJ, who's our CEO, I said, we cannot miss out on this opportunity to go. And I said, number one is it's going to gain insight for us to help our clients just in understanding what they're doing to help them grow in the Valley to $100 million, and what they're doing to grow their organization. Because, there's hundreds of, I shouldn't say hundreds, but there's a lot of firms that are out there right now saying, hey, we'll engage with you and we'll look to help increase your revenue in your business and in the HVAC space. But not everyone is right for Any Hour group, to do that. And you can pick and choose who you want, but to have a partnership, I think, is a real different thing. And that's something that you guys really kind of take hold of, being a partnership for not only people who don't know you, people who do know you. where did that mentality kind of come from as far as opening the doors?
Great question. And this is something we've done as long as I've been here. In fact, the first week I started with Wyatt and the team here, uh, I'm kind of a spontaneous guy, and I love to just be active and doing things. And Wyatt called me the first week I started, and he said, "Hey, I want to go on a little trip tomorrow. Can you pack a bag when you come to work?" Well, yeah, absolutely. That sounds fun. Let's go do something. And so what we did though is we jumped in the truck here in Utah, and we called this our Good to Great trip. If you're familiar with the book Good to Great.
Yep.
And so what we did is Wyatt told me, he said, we're going to listen to this book while we drive to Denver. It's a 9 hour drive, right? And he said, as long as we're talking business, we can pause the book. But we pushed play on the book, and I think we made it through about one. This is back when we were playing CDs, right? When we made it through about one disc that entire trip, because I love just talking business. But we call it our Good to Great trip. We drove out to Denver, and we went and saw some businesses there in the Denver area. So pretty cool. We went out to those different locations, and I remember I was new with Wyatt. We were still um, small as a business, and we were going to get on ideas on how to develop our business. And so we walked through these businesses, and they were very gracious, and they brought us in, and we spent a little bit of time with them. We were able to eat with them and have some build some relationships that we still have today. And they just helped us open our mind to ideas that we could use in our business. And so we've done that ever since. I've been to so many businesses I couldn't even count, and people come here all the time, every single week. I'm probably showing the business here to 3 to 5 different businesses a week sometimes. Our doors are open. Why? Because we just want to share what we're doing and hope that it can help people find valuable insight to work in their business and make the experience for their people better. So we love to share what we're doing here, but it all started years ago. We had people share with us, and we just want to give back.
Let's take us back those 12 years. And what were you doing prior to working at Any Hour? And what was the process to say, I'm going to go, and what role? Because it's not a conventional role to say, hey, I'm going to start a company, let's jump in the truck and rock and roll out to Denver.
Yeah.
So what was kind of the thought process for you as far as what you had going on? What were you doing? What did you come to Any Hour to do? Because at a small company, you didn't have president of merger and acquisitions and business development, all that good stuff title behind you. You probably had, GM, marketing manager, something of that nature. What kind of take us back and bring us in?
We could spend the entire time just on that question, Bill. So I'll try to make it kind of short. So I started in heating and air conditioning back in the year 2000. So we're into that well over 20 years. And it was fun back then. I love heating and air conditioning. I was passionate about it. Um, I worked with a business, starting out fresh and new, doing new construction and service and whatever just needed to be done. And I remember after I'd been with the company several years, I was helping manage the business, running all the sales leads, building and designing plans and estimates for construction. I was doing everything. And I was at a sales call one day. I knocked on the door, and the customer came to the door, and they were on the phone with somebody. So they said, hold on a minute. And whoever was on the other line must have asked who's at the door. He's like, oh, it's just the service guy. And he kind of struck a nerve. I remember thinking to myself, just the service guy? Am I just the service guy? It struck a nerve so powerfully in me that I actually quit my job that week. Not because I didn't love it, but I had to go figure out who and what I was. Was I just the service guy, or was I more? Went on a journey of discovery for many years, self-employed for quite a bit of time. Believe it or not, I owned everything from my own construction business to a restaurant to, you may laugh, Bill, but I've never been, you're going to, well, maybe. I've never really been the type to want to sit in school, but I've always loved learning.
No
And I
doubt.
wanted to learn how to operate a business. So one of the first things I did after leaving that other place was to learn how to operate a business. I decided I'm going to go buy a business. And so I went and bought a hair salon because it was the cheapest business I could find at the time. No, it's funny because I don't have any hair, right, Bill?
I
Is that why
wasn't.
you're laughing?
I said I wasn't going to laugh, but that is not the business I thought you were going to
It's
say.
not what you expected. No, it was affordable, and I just wanted to learn how to operate a business, manage my employees. And I mean, think back, I was young. I was in my early 20s. I wanted to have employees. I wanted to learn how to do the marketing. I wanted to run the office and the books. And so I bought a business, and I
Was
ran it for a
that hair
year.
salon still in play today?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it still is.
What is the name of it? Let's give them a shout out. What's the name of that hair salon?
The name of the salon was Precision Hair Design
Precision Hair Design in
in
what's the,
Orem, Utah.
in
Just up the
Orem,
street from our
Utah.
shop here. Yep.
I'm going to look to see how many reviews they had and how many we can influence based upon this podcast.
If they're not there anymore, I don't know. But yeah, I don't go to the salon much anymore, if you can tell. But I learned a lot of valuable stuff. I kept it for about a year.
Yep.
I sold it and doubled my money, and it was a good experience. And so I was always on this journey of discovery and self-education. So I did that for a little bit. I started a magazine publication with a friend. We just had an idea, put together a flyer, and went out and sold marketing to contractors. So we developed. I love being in the construction industry, so we developed a construction-related magazine offering marketing space to contractors to gain business from homeowners. Did that for a little while. We sold that to another company, moved out to North Carolina and opened a restaurant of all things, because who doesn't want to own a restaurant, right?
Absolutely. I've been there.
Decided I didn't like running a restaurant and I liked construction related industries better. So did that for a short time, sold it to my business partner, just wanted out, and moved back to Utah and started up my construction company. Um, so here's where I think one of my most valuable lessons in life came in when it comes to business. I was running my construction business and things were going just fine. I was making pretty good money. And I actually got in a motorcycle accident. Car ran a stop sign, and just kind of, what else can you do? Sometimes you just kind of see the wreck coming and you just get ready. And I took the wreck, crushed my ankle on a Friday. So I crashed on a Friday, made it home in a cast, lots of pain and agony. And Monday morning, my customers are expecting me to take care of business because I'm the boss, right? And I got to make sure things happen. Just so happened that Monday I had a concrete truck scheduled, and not enough. I'm the boss. I got to get things done. So what do? I duct taped an industrial garbage bag around my cast and went to work pouring concrete. It seems like I wrapped it all the way around, clear to the toes. You make the garbage bag boot. So skip forward now 6 or 8 weeks when I get this cast off, right? However long that was, I don't remember. But about 2 weeks after I got the cast off my leg, and we had recovered, I had my team of employees that helped me get through that time, but I realized that I was kind of all alone when it comes to when things need to be done. I'm the guy that needs to do it. I wasn't able to share all that responsibility around. And 2 weeks after I got that cast off, Wyatt invited me to come in, actually to go to breakfast. Now I know he had an ulterior motive to try and convince me to come and join the team, but
Right.
he invited me to breakfast and we were going to go hang out. Wyatt's somebody I've known since I was a teenager.
Okay.
In fact, incredible man. If you don't know Wyatt, years ago when I was first with that new company doing heating and air conditioning, Wyatt and we weren't with the same business, but we had the same contractors. And
Yep.
so anytime one of our contractors started a new project, he was the electrical company and my company was the heating and air conditioning company. So we were on the same jobs, working side to side. Um, I know Wyatt. And so we were getting together to have breakfast and talk about life and business and everything else. And I didn't go to breakfast with Wyatt that day. I came and attended one of the trainings here. And then we had a quick conversation after. And I'll be honest, after talking with Wyatt, it felt just felt right. Call it a feeling, whatever you want to call it. Maybe I was at a vulnerable point, but what I realized is I didn't want to get in a car wreck on Friday and pour concrete on Monday, if
Right.
that makes sense. So being able to join a team of entrepreneurs, I've always been an entrepreneur, I always will be, but now I've surrounded myself with a powerful team that I can rely on and count on. You know, you mentioned a few names, Mike Wilson, and one of the things I love about working here is I'm with the same team of managers. We've been together this entire time. It's the same team. We haven't lost a single manager in 13 years.
That's
And so
incredible.
these people that I work with and share the responsibility of what we do here at Any Hour. It's the same people I've been with the whole time. They've become my great friends, and so I have surrounded myself with a strong team, and I don't have to duct tape a garbage bag around my leg anymore to go to work. So powerful.
It definitely is, and you can feel your emotion of what, and I think that, and just my perspective as an outsider, is it's not a perspective of, you know, I always had this mentality of Any Hour being a cult like environment. Okay, hold on. You're smiling, right?
That's
Because
funny.
that's a perspective, but it's not a cult like environment. It's a culture like environment.
Okay.
Okay, of what you do. And I'm going to tell you the funny story, okay, about it. And not I didn't truly experience it until I visited the shop. Okay. All right. So obviously going back in our story, Wyatt says, "Hey, come and visit us." And I said, "CJ, we're out. We're going." We schedule a meeting, we fly out, and the first thing that happens is obviously you're welcomed, and the hospitality of what it's like coming to the place. And the first place we went was felt like an auditorium of service techs. And I don't know if that's designed by nature to say, let's put our biggest room together, and you walk in. I'm sure there's some psychology that's figured out as far as people coming in, but you go into your service tech meeting, okay? And they go through the KPIs, okay? And there are 5 KPIs that are measured across the board, stack ranked by individual as far as close rate, number of reviews to ask, reviews, and then number of revenue that's brought in. And I believe there's an association with all of those different KPIs that goes platinum, silver, gold. And then all of a sudden, you get a score based upon amongst your competitors or your colleagues, because I think that competition rises individual performance. And then you get handed darts. And I was like, okay, this is an HVAC company and they're getting ready to have a dart game. Okay. So if you don't know what's going on, like, you're just observing. Okay. And so Wyatt comes into the room, and he's like almost in some ways, and maybe this is a bad, I feel like he's Teddy Roosevelt. He walks in a quiet manner. He's there, okay? But then when he does speak, it's like the parting of the seas, and people, like, instantly the radar goes off, and it's an attention to what he's saying because it's so valuable. So everybody gets up and they throw their darts, right? Okay. We go to the next meeting. And I do think in some ways, because of the growth, that you're like walking around, like you're going through the compound, and it's like you could probably have like one of those buildings on the side of the 15 that Adobe has, or Podium has, and Silicon Slopes, to occupy the Any Hour. But you're going in, and it feels like you're in somebody's home and going from place to place. And then you get into the next meeting, which might have been HVAC sales, and you go
Yeah.
through the same 5 KPIs, and Guys get their darts, women get their darts, and then they're playing for money bucks. And Wyatt walks into the room and, he's not following us, but like he is kind of following what's going on throughout the course of the day and touching base with everybody. And all of a sudden, everybody stops and everybody gets down and starts doing 5 push-ups. I'm like, what's this 5 push-up business? And I turn around and there's Wyatt on the floor doing 5 push-ups along with everybody. And what that was is those 5 push-ups, and I'm stealing a little thunder here because it was pretty impactful. Okay. Is those 5 push-ups were because that person didn't hit the KPIs that everybody is targeted with in the company. And when one person unfortunately doesn't help in aiding to the team's growth, everybody will result in performing together a method of, I don't want to say penance, but like, we're going to all get down and do push-ups, but hey, what can we do to help that person to be better? It was impactful. It was really impactful. And until you experience what goes on in your sewer sales or what goes on in your HVAC tech sales or, your plumbing techs or whatever, until you experience the environment in that room, I can try to recreate that in my office and it'll fall flat on its face. Can you talk about that whole mentality for a few minutes?
I sure can. Well, first of all, we don't just make everyone do push-ups, Bill. Anyway, though, but let me step back a pace. We've been growing 20-30% per year for years now. And one of the biggest fears we had as we grew the business so aggressively and so fast paced was, how's this going to affect our culture? The bigger we get, we're worried, is it going to kind of fall apart? How can we make sure that we are staying on top of it and it stays strong? We were worried. And so we had a lot of conversations about how to develop the business so that we didn't lose momentum and so that people still felt valued. The exact opposite has happened, though. Maybe it's because we were worried and we had those conversations. But what we've discovered is that each department has its own culture, and the company has still maintained its culture. Like you said, when Wyatt walks in the room, people are excited to see him walk in the room because they know he's going to say something and he's going to inspire. And that's what he does. Wyatt comes in and people feel motivated and inspired to be successful. He's just got that impact on people. So now we have these cultures within our culture of departments, and we empower the leaders of those different departments to work on their culture. And so the reason we're doing push-ups is in that department, they decided as a team, hey, when somebody doesn't quite bring it to the table, we're going to have some push-ups. But you're right. Wyatt is the first guy to be engaged in that type of an activity. He was always the first guy to jump in the trench and the first guy to take the job in the attic. He's just a very motivated and powerful person when it comes to leadership. People follow him because he leads, not because he tells you what to do.
With your growth now being where you're getting partners, and let's just call that they have their own culture. Sure. How have you been able to extend the culture from, and I don't want to call it acquisition, a partnership, where you partnered with another company to utilize some of the different aspects that you have as far as leverage, buying power, all that good stuff. And every company that you work with, and you just had a big seven company announcement. Congratulations on that in January. I know that's all of your hard work and the hard work of the team around you. But how do you extend that culture from what you have in the core group out? Because they have their culture. And sure. How do you match that?
You mentioned something really important to us there, Bill. You talk about you mentioned it's not really an acquisition, it's a partnership to us. Let me touch on that really quickly. So we decided Well, we could tell you the whole story. If you're interested, go find Wyatt Hepworth's podcast. You can learn why we decided to start the NER group and have partnerships. But just a really quick touch on that. We had a lot of businesses come through because there's this consolidation in our industry, and they were interested in acquiring NER. And we took them on tours of the business. And as we're walking around, they said things like, when we acquire you, or when we take over, or when we buy your business. And you hear a lot of stories about what's happening in our industry, of some of the horrors that are happening. People's, their culture's falling apart, and their people are leaving because of all the changes that they're making. I've heard that about other people, but not about us. Because the whole reason we decided to do the Any Hour group is we didn't want to be acquired and taken over and changed. We care too much about our people. We wanted to build something strong where people feel valued, they have culture, they have a family environment, and they want to be here for their whole career. And we wanted to be able to offer that to people that join our group. And so we created the NAR group to offer a partnership. Now, with that partnership, people that join us, we don't go and take over the operation of their business. We don't want to. You're doing a good job. If you joined our group, it's because you're doing a good job. And we're happy to partner with you and share ideas and resources and tools and experience. And we want to learn from you, and we want you to learn from us, and we all want to get better together. So on a business development side of things, the leaders that are joining us, they're our partners, and we're a team. When it comes to the culture, though, what we hope will happen is we have a lot of different training opportunities here at our location in Utah. We're facilitating training at our partner locations around the country. And what we hope will happen is people will come to these trainings. What does that look like? One of these trainings will have between 35 and 40 people come. We'll have 3, 4, 5 from different partner companies around the country. And so you in one room may have, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different company representations with these people. And so they're in the room together, rubbing shoulders, learning together. This is an immersive class. They're there for 3 or 4 days. And what we hope is they'll gain confidence. They'll learn new ideas. They'll make new friends, and they'll take back to the company that they work at, wherever it's located. They'll take back those things that they found here to their team, and they'll share their excitement and their passion and their motivation. They'll share the principles, the skills that they gained from coming to that class. So what we're finding is our cultures are starting to merge together. So our company is changing with these partnerships, and people that are coming here, the cultures are merging, and we're finding some great value in that.
Let's go back to the dart game because I don't want to forget about it.
Yeah.
Has the dart game made it to any of the partners of the Any Hour group?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Here's what I love about the darts. When I started here 12 years ago, I came in as an HVAC technician. There was just 2 of us. And when we woke up in the morning, we didn't know what we'd be doing. We'd go to our first customer's house, and we'd present options. We'd give them repair. We'd give them replace options sometimes. If they decided to do the work, I drove to the supply house, got all my own parts and materials, went back and did the installation. I mean, we did whatever it took. And even 12 years ago, I was motivated to perform well so that I could get up at our meeting day and throw darts. Why? Because we all have a little bit of a gambler in us, and we just want to go and have some fun and try to make a little bit of money. With our dart scenario, we're taking home cash, and you can do one of 2 things. We've got a front line and a back line. The front line is worth face value on the dartboard. The back line is worth double face value. Like I say, we all want to take risks and win big. And so people get up there and they throw darts. And in 12 years of doing this, it hasn't lost interest to people. They still are excited. Nobody wants to miss the opportunity to get up in front of their friends and win some cash. That's exciting, right? Yep. So yeah, we have had probably not all of them yet, but a lot of our partners that have maximized that dartboard experience. It's a lot of fun for people.
There's a couple, and I know that you got travel plans today, and I know I can spend hours talking to you, but there are a couple of subjects that I think are important for us to really kind of to get out into it. And first and foremost, one of the biggest challenges our industry faces, my industry, your industry faces, is the recruitment of great people. But I've heard you say that it's not about recruitment of great people. It's about retention of great people. Can you talk to me and the audience a little bit about what Any Hour does to retain great people?
Absolutely. I will touch on one point on recruiting.
Yeah, sure.
Because the strength of people coming into your business starts with recruiting. And if all you do is bring them into your office and sit across the desk from that bald guy in a tie, all right, that's intimidating and scary. And so bringing people in, giving them the opportunity to see what your business is about, let them see the darts. Let them see what makes your company cool. We've got some cool stuff here. We've got a gym and a basketball court and an incredible install team. And we've got a tooth fairy program. Now, if you want to know what the tooth fairy program is, you have to call and ask me. But retention, keeping people in your business strong, starts with how you share your business with them. So the one point I'll touch on is people will come here for a tour. They'll get the whole experience. When we determine that it's somebody we want to bring into the business, make an offer to, if we can, we'd actually like to bring in their significant other and do the same thing with them. The reason we do that is when people go home at night and they have a bad day, for example, they may go home to their partner and say, hey, I just had a really bad day at work. And if they don't have a strong culture surrounding them, the conversation might be, oh, I'm sorry you had such a bad day at work. Maybe we should look for a new place to work. I mean, if it's really that bad, if you hate where you work, let's go find somewhere else. That might be the conversation. Where if we brought the team along and they go home after a day with Any Hour, the conversation is going to be, man, I'm really sorry you had a hard day. Aren't you glad you have such a strong team to support you and help you through the hard times? Isn't Any Hour a great place to work? So it's kind of a different conversation. So retention starts with recruiting. It really does. The experience you give to people, the culture you show them, that's what makes it start out strong. And it has to start strong to stay strong.
And I think one of the things it's very impressive, and I'd like you to talk about it a little bit, is that the color coding. I think color coding is an integral part of your organization, but it doesn't have to be just to the home service business as far as from a color coding standpoint. Can you talk a little bit about how employees get through that color? Just talk about the program first of all, how it kind of, because if my knowledge and my research is correct, Any Hour is the one that brought color coding to Nexstar.
That's correct. Yep.
All right. So can you talk about it?
Nexstar has been a fantastic organization for us to work with. So shout out to them and their team. We love working with them. And yeah, we introduced them to the idea of using the color code in business. They have introduced lots of ideas to our business. So it's been a relationship with them where we've gained so much from them and we've been able to share as well. And so we've grown together as a team. So super business there. And they saw the value in the color code, which is so cool that we're able to share that and learn from that together. The color code we use in our business every single day. Now, I'll point this out. When I came in here years and years and years ago, I took the color code and I thought to myself, what is this color code? This is stupid. That's what my first reaction was until I started to understand what it is and how we can use it to grow together as a team. So really, very simply, Bill, it's a communication tool. You're learning to understand what drives people, what their core motivation is. You answer a bunch of questions about what you were like as a child, which is unusual. It kind of takes you down memory lane. But when you were a child is when you were developing and learning and growing. And the reason we answer the questions that way is because in moments of stress in life, we revert to our child core motivations. That's, I mean, if you're driving down the road and there's a little bit of road rage happening and somebody flips you the bird or something, right? Those emotions come back and you kind of revert to who you were as a kid. And so we use it to understand people and to know what motivates them and to help them develop their path in their career here. We never use it as a hiring tool to decide whether or not we want to hire somebody.
Right, right.
But when we hire people and they're part of our business, we want them to have that tool so we can understand them. Well, something we do in our business is we have one-on-one meetings with every single person in the business every single week. It's something very important to us. We actually track it and measure it and improve on it all the time. And understanding people that you're sitting in a room with, knowing what their color code is and what motivates them and what drives them in their life and in their business helps you to understand how to bring them along and to motivate them in their career path. So pretty powerful tool. For me personally, it's helped me to understand myself. My limitations in there say that I'm uh, easily distracted and sometimes forgetful and a little bit disorganized. And those are very real. And I didn't realize that they were how real they were until I took it and decided to learn about myself. And so I've learned ways to be less forgetful and more disciplined and more organized because of it. So just a powerful tool to communicate with.
And I would also say that when somebody sees opportunities, there are other factors that can say that are positive because of that. Because, one of the things that people will love about certain people is their spontaneity to make a decision and get in a truck and let's go have, instead of a great good to great, a built to last trip.
Sure.
As far as that goes. And yeah, oh, I had this priority, but the spontaneity in me to say, let's just go do it is a positive on those other ends of where it is. It's about controlling those things together. Do you roll those additional color codes out to the different partners that you've acquired?
Yes, we encourage them to use the color code. We teach them the value, but when people actually come to our 5-star training, so that immersive class, people are coming to learn together. We talk about the color code, and what we're doing is teaching them how to understand themselves, but then also to recognize different personalities or personality types in their customer. So to read people just a little bit better and to develop that intuitive ability we have to understand. I mean, there's so many different types of people, and you might find yourself with a soft-spoken person in your presenting, where if you just slow down your speech, take a little more time, you know what I mean. You can change how you present to your customers based on observations, and if you can pinpoint personality traits, you can present better. So
Well, and that brings up an interesting point, is because your typical HVAC technician or plumbing tech, they could literally go to a millennial, a Gen Zer, and a Gen Xer. And if they have one strategic view of I'm only going to present X, Y, and Z way, their close ratio or their engagement ratio or their 5-star review ratio is going to go down because they're not reading and anticipating the ideas that that person sees as options to be able to have a successful venture. Everybody's a little bit different. So you made a big move in the month of January with 7 new. So can you just bring us up to speed? What's the total number of partners that are in the Any Hour group right now?
all right, in the Any Hour group, we started doing this less than 18 months ago, and it's been a fun journey to meet so many people that are coming into the team and make them our friends. Right now, we have 23 locations around the country. That being said, Bill, we talked about the power and how what you can gain from visiting people to develop your own business.
Yeah.
If you're having a hard time finding people to visit, as a group here, we have 23 locations, 17 different brands. Let us know you want to visit any of these locations, and we'll open the doors and we'll make that possible. They're all different shapes and sizes. Awesome people. That's why they joined us. We're looking for the best businesses out there, the best teams. So you can learn from all of these different people that are part of the group. So
I know that I said that we want to always try to keep our podcast, and I know that you and I could sit down at a conference and haven't seen each other in 2 months or 3 months, and boom, we can just pick up talking business and what's going on, and we could talk for hours. and I want to be respectful of your time, as I know you got a busy schedule ahead of you. There's two things I just want to quickly recap. Number one is that you said something interesting as you do a weekly one-on-one. My good friend Keith Mercurio always says, and I encourage upon the listeners that have those one-on-ones with your employees. A bad one-on-one is better than no one-on-one. To be able to have those conversations and that time to show and understand what employees are going through, what they're dealing with, what their challenges are, that is going to be an instant boost to your retention program across the board. So that's my kind of viewpoint on it. We like to do a little thing here in the den called the final roar. So here's what I'd like, because you've seen the growth, okay, of any hour services from 2 million to 5 million, 10, 15, 35 on to and just in the Valley, 100 million plus this year. You've seen the growth. What's your piece of advice to the guy that's Dustin and Wyatt in 2010, doing 2.5 million and adding an HVAC unit to this electrical company and saying, hey, we got this vision for growth? What's your advice to them? And then what is your advice to the guy that's sitting at 10 million that's saying, hey, I know I have the ability to go to the next step. I need the help.
If I'm talking to these business owners that are trying to develop their business and break past some of those growth barriers that you hear people talk about, I'll tell you the greatest thing you can do. I have people come here all the time and they'll ask me, well, what's the silver bullet in your business? What's made you so successful? And the really short, easy answer is it's the people. Okay. But let's take that one step further. It's the people that are supporting the people. It's your leadership team. It's developing leaders. So whether you're 5 million or 10 million, what are you doing to find and develop leaders in your business? Now, I will point out that over 95% of the managers and leaders in our business are homegrown. We promote from within our business, and we don't just promote people into positions and say, okay, you're a manager now, good luck. We take these people and we invest in their development, because just because they're a manager doesn't mean they know how to be a leader. It means they can stay on top of tasks maybe, but look for talent in your business, promote them to an opportunity of management, and then teach them how to be a leader, right? The power in those one-on-ones is not just to get together and say, hi, how you doing? It's leading people. It's helping them know how to have a great career path. And you don't have that unless you train your managers to be leaders. And so hire people from within, teach them to be leaders, teach them how to appreciate and value the people that they serve, have a service attitude and mentality in your business, because you're never going to grow if your people keep leaving, right?
Right.
If your people are leaving, go buy them a milkshake and say, I don't want you to leave. Sometimes that's all it takes. They just need to feel appreciated and valued. So take them out for a milkshake and spend 30 minutes with them, an hour with them, whatever it takes, 6 hours with them, and let them know that you care. The success and the ability for you to grow a business as a business it hinges on the people you develop. If people are leaving you every single day or every single week, they're firing you. Don't let your people fire you. The greatest ability you have to grow hinges on the support you give to your people and their desire to want to be there. So develop leaders, develop people. 5, 10, 100 million, it doesn't matter. The average construction company out there or service company out there has a retention rate of 60% on average, maybe. We're maintaining 90% average retention across the board in a college town where we plan on losing some people. It's okay to lose a little bit, but if you're at 60, 70% retention, you're doing terrible. Show your people appreciation and develop that leadership.
Well, listen, I first of all, I want to thank you for your valuable time. I know you're getting ready to head to the airport, jump on a plane, go and enjoy some good colleagues this week. I know that you're going to be surrounded by a tremendous amount of knowledge and leadership and the things that you got going on. But the time that we've been able to spend together has been invaluable. I know it's been a long time on the books. We've been saying we're going to do it. I'm glad that we had the opportunity to do it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your guidance in understanding the business, and I look forward to the continued success in hearing about any Hour Group. I'm looking forward to you coming east of the Mississippi. I know there's been a lot of West Coast, but we East Coast people, we got some good businesses over here that are waiting to talk to you. So, with that being said, how do people get in touch with you?
All right. You can reach me a couple of different ways.
Yeah,
My email is Dustin at anyhourservices.com.
perfect.
I'm going to give you my cell phone. You can call me directly anytime you'd like.
Okay,
Okay. Anytime within reason. Don't wake me up. It's area code 801-787-3546. And I genuinely invite you to call, text, email. It doesn't matter. Let us know if we can help. Come for a visit. Like I say, 23 locations. You can find any size or shape that you want to learn from. We want you to come. We love to share.
well, listen, I'm going to let you run, but I truly thank you for your time. It's been an honor, a pleasure, and please say hello to the rest of the team from us. And we'll continue to talk along the way and watch your success and growth.
Sounds awesome. Appreciate you sharing your time with us as well, Bill.
All right. You have a great day, my friend.